Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fennimore High School. Ken Manning, Western Wisconsin Video Productions, along with Kirk Lear as we get set for tonight's tape delay broadcast of WIAA Team Sectionals. And Kirk, what a night it's going to be here in Fennimore.
Boy, whenever you can say that you got the three top-ranked teams in any school all at one time, you got something to watch.
Boy, that is for sure. Well, we are going to get started right away here. I thought maybe there'd be a little bit of introductions, but I think they'll save those for the championship match. We are going to follow the Aquinas Blue Goats, and they're taking on Iowa Grant Highland here on this particular matchup. And Kirk, we'll let you have the honors as we begin at 126.
Yep, we're hoping they're going to flash this. There we go. This will be Max Kelly, the freshman from Iowa Grant. That Kelly name in Iowa Grant still is hard for me to spit out.
I hear you.
But, yeah, Max Kelly, the freshman, taking on Michael Jones, the freshman from Aquinas. So as we always say, for team means team. You get all your athletes involved, and right away here you have a freshman from Aquinas with a 0-0 record taking on Max Kelly, the fine freshman with a really good gene pool behind him. He's had a pretty good year, too. Nice, very careful takedown there by Max as he gets the first takedown and leads 2-0. The interesting thing about this right from the beginning, Ken, is since we drew this weight class, we know where Aquinas is, unlike a couple of the other two teams here that are tough, be Iowa Grant and Fennimore. Aquinas is really tough at 113 and 120. So
yes.
Whoever's going to beat Aquinas tonight probably better get it done before we get around that way.
I'm with you on that one because they are solid.
Yep. When you have a defending state champion, Fitzpatrick, at 113 and then Robert Flagey at 120, that's a tough place. Although Jones says, I'm here to wrestle too, although I kind of think Kelly let him go there a little bit. But going takedowns here, 45 seconds left in this period, and it's a 2-1 score in Fennimore High School. This additional new gym, we're in the new part of the gym here, Ken, where they built on, and it really adds to it. This is, I think, the second time they've held the team sectional here, and just like last time, a pretty good crowd, going to get bigger, and going to be a noisy crowd.
That's for sure. And we're going to wind up making a move from here to mat number 1 later on here after the conclusion of this one.
There's another takedown, got a cradle locked up. Can he turn it here? He's not going to have enough time, I don't think, to turn it, and he doesn't.
Well, a nice job on that as he cut the corner, and he was looking for that near side cradle. He had the leg locked up, but as Kirk mentioned, the time run out, and it's a 4-1 score after 1.
We have Fennimore taking on Royal on the other end of the gym. There's a few matches down there. Pretty well, that team score is already pretty well decided down there. So the winner of this match here, either Iowa Grant or Aquinas, will go down and wrestle Fennimore, as Ken said, in the championship match. And we'll move down there for mat number 1 later on here. Going takedowns again this period. And again, it's Kelly coming around for that near side cradle. He's got it locked up. He's got the near fall. And now this period, he's got a lot of time to work for that fall. He's just taking his time to get him over there. Now he's got him over there solid. And this could be big for them right away. And as you and I both know, Ken, once you start at 132, that's where Iowa Grant has got their solidness.
Very much so.
We're going to start out this duel with a second period, 45 seconds into the second period, so 2:45 for Max Kelly.
I want to say thanks to all the sponsors. You're going to be seeing those sponsors in the lower, one of the lower left or right corners of the screen once we decide to put those in, of course, with all the editing and everything. But we do look forward to seeing those fine folks, and we appreciate their support. We're going to move to 132 pounds. And for Aquinas, it says Grady Nicolay.
They haven't put it up on track wrestling yet. I'm pretty sure that looks like Hunter over there, but we should see it here in just a second as they get ready to start here.
And the match is going to get underway. We'll flip-flop back and forth. I'll take the 132.
Yep.
And there's a nice little ankle pick, and he'll scoot around behind for the takedown. Well, not quite yet, as Nicolay, if that's who it is out here, doing a nice job on the defense. Now Iowa Grant Highland will pick up the takedown.
You are correct, Ken. It is Grady Nicolay again. Although I don't think Iowa Grant put his records in, so I don't think he's 0-0, but he is a freshman. He does take on Hunter Stevens, the fine sophomore from Iowa Grant, with a 39-1 record.
Yeah, he has just been a machine out there on the mat. We'll see how Grady can do here in this tough matchup. Right now, an armbar series set in on that left side, and he's reaching for the wrist is Stevens. And now he's trying to run that. You got to be a little careful not to run it over at noon or midnight. Now he's got the turn. He cut the corner a little bit and is getting the turn. Now he's going to go a double arm bar, and he's sitting out on this. That's a lot of leverage right there on Nicolay. Trying to fight this off here, and there's the fall. Well, it didn't take that long, minute 16. And the pin here for the Iowa Grant Highland squad, and they're going to bump up to 12-0, your team score.
Yep, this is where, like we said, this is where Iowa Grant starts, especially Max Kelly is no slouch at 126. He's a solid wrestler for him. But now you start in here at 132, and now it's interesting. At this, we started out the first match with Iowa Grant's choice, and we're going to see that as we go throughout the night. Now as you get into your chess matches here, I don't believe this is Biba. I don't think this is Elliott coming out here. So we'll again have to see as track wrestling updates. Good chance looking at who Iowa Grant has here. It could be, I don't see. I didn't think that's Elliott, is it?
No.
I didn't think it was either. We'll see in a second. It must be somebody. Okay, there we go. Jackson McGuire, a junior with a 16-2 record. And he does take on Waylon Hargrove. This is one of Aquinas' at least more solid wrestlers down in this area. Early takedown by Hargrove, and then an escape by Jackson McGuire. Jackson's one of those young men in this lineup that he's just kind of caught. There's a lot of times not a spot for him.
Well, that's the tough one, too, because you got Biba in front of you, and he's ranked number 1 and, looking to get his first state championship.
Yep. Oh, nice move there by McGuire as he fought off a double-leg shot by Hargrove and came up with a takedown. Looking at the early program that I printed out, Jackson McGuire was listed at 144, and he must have been able to drop down here and wrestle Hargrove.
Doing a great job going after that far side, that cross-face cradle here, Kurt.
He does, but he hasn't been able to secure any back points yet. Still looking there to move it over, and now if he can take that big step and step across, hope to have enough mat room there, though.
That's the big one.
There he goes. And he is going to get some back points. That's the one nice thing about the new rule there. But he does have to keep at least his hip in bounds here. And he could even secure the fall out of bounds there as long as he keeps himself in bounds. He's going to at least have 3 more points here. So he's going to be up 6-2 here. As now the clock is going to run against his favors. We're down to the last 5 seconds. And Hargrove doing a nice job and bridges his way through that. 6-2 after 1 period in favor of Jackson McGuire from Iowa Grant Highland.
McGuire gave up the opening takedown, but boy, after that, he has been on fire.
Well, like I said, you look at his record there, and he's just caught in that part of the lineup. He's just a solid young, he's not young, he's a junior with a 16-2 record. So, he's seen significant action here for Iowa Grant Highland, and he's done it. Now the cross our far side cradle going the other way, this time for Hargrove, and you'll see if he can turn it. And he is going to turn it. Oh, but McGuire did a nice job of rolling right all the way through that. That's, you always say when you take a cradle over, whether you, especially if you try to do the suicide cradle, but either way, you got to that last little portion, you got to be under control.
Yep.
and he took it over a little too fast, and McGuire just rolled right on through it. No points yet, though, but and there we go. That's the right call there to make, too.
Yep.
There was no control. Small argument by Deke Stanek. The one thing that's impressive here tonight, too, Ken, is we have some of the finest coaches in Division III wrestling here tonight, too, and all of them, have done fantastic things for their squads.
Yes, very much so. It's phenomenal to see what they've done building the programs.
And even down there with Royal Wrestling here, their numbers, as far as overall numbers for the whole year, have not been quite where they wanted it. But they did a nice job getting second place behind Aquinas last week at the Independence Super Regional.
Right, and they were the conference champs for the Scenic Bluffs as well.
Yes, that's true.
Yep.
Well, now we're in there. Hargrove did a nice job, but this time he got the pressure in and he got the takedown. So now it's 7-4. Down to the last 35 seconds, locked up that cradle again. This time he rolled it over a little bit more under control. See what happens. He was able to kick out. He gave 2 or 3.
I thought, yeah, he did give 3.
He did give 3. Now he's going to run an armbar. He's going to score some more back points here. McGuire's going to have to, he's the one who's going to have to bridge out to try to save himself in this period. But he's at least going to be around behind 10 to not. Oh, there it is. 5 seconds to go, and Hargrove comes up with the fall. So that would be in 3:55. He secures the fall and now makes this duel a little more interesting at 12-6 as we go to 144. But now I would imagine that we're going to see Elliot Biba come out.
I would put some money on that one, right? Should be a good one coming up here, especially if it's Marcus Clark at 144 pounds, if he comes out onto the mat.
He's one of their better athletes?
Yep.
Okay.
The Clark.
No, this is going to be Hinderman.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
That is. Not that you say you're sending somebody out who isn't capable.
Well, absolutely.
Brock Hinderman, the fine freshman with a 35-6 record, he's been having a good year.
(12-6) the score. Iowa Grant out in front here, team-wise. We move to 144 pounds. And we're going to take the whistle and run with this one, as I believe this is Hargrove out here. Whalen.
Whalen was in the last
Marcus
match.
Clark. I'm sorry, yeah. Marcus Clark.
I'll upbeat you in a second as soon as the computer catches up.
It'll do that. Both wrestlers vying for position here.
This is Zach Malin, though.
Oh, it is.
The junior at this
at
weight
50.
class.
Okay, dropped down.
Yep, he's taking Brock Hinderman. Yeah, him and Clark were both listed by Aquinas at 144.
Oh, they were? Okay.
Yep.
I didn't have that on this sheet, so they threw me a curveball. I never could hit curveballs.
I know it. But it will be interesting. You kind of wonder where is Biba just going to sit out? I would be surprised to see if he sits out this duel, but it's going to get here real quick. Where can you use him at?
Right. Well, I mean, seriously, that's going to be the tough one.
Well, if he weighed in at 44, they could use him at 50.
Yep. All he'd have to do is weigh half a pound more at 38. So,
yep.
Well, it's going to be Moline with the opening takedown here as he's able to cut the corner and trap that leg on a step through. And now they're working the edge of the mat here. Trying to bring him back in and lock up a near side cradle is Clark. Moline. I'm going to say Clark for a while. I apologize, folks. Moline has the turn now. Hinderman doing all he can to try and kick out of there. And now they're out of bounds.
He does get the 3 near fall.
That'll make it a 5-0 score here. Moline out in front over Hinderman. Now they're going to come over here. They're going to have to check
blood time.
With some blood time. So that means we can take a little break. We come 23 seconds remaining here in period number 1. And now Hinderman trying to step over. A lot of times you can get yourself in trouble like that, but Moline is going to step out of that. going with a bit of a crab ride here as they come near our territory. Thanks to Jim Prochaska and all the crew here at Fennimore helping us out as we got here early and set up. Appreciate all that they've been able to do here for us. Choice here, Moline is going to go down. And a quick whistle, and we're off and going here in period number 2. Hinderman's going to work the legs on the right side.
You're going to see a lot of that tonight. The Iowa Grant team, kind of after their head coach, like a lot of stuff like this with arm bars and tilts.
Yep.
And pressures with those arm bars. Got a little high with that leg, though.
Yeah, Moline trying to step through, but now getting a little better position here is Hinderman. Trying to get that arm locked up.
Now he's got it locked, looking for a tilt.
Got that elbow right in the middle of the back, and if he's but again, the Moline, now there's a little bit of a turn, but Moline's going to roll all the way through it. Good job there by the Blue Gold, and a nice follow with Hinderman. That's the fun part about the match here too, Kirk, because you're going to see some, really, really good athletes here, and that counter, it's a shot and a counter and a shot kind of a thing. The chain wrestling, you're going to see a lot of that here tonight.
Hinderman now getting a little bit high. Got his leg caught in there. Good, and he's going to have to give it up.
Yeah, Moline did a good job of splitting those legs, like you said, and once that split was done, it was just a matter of time as he kept slowly working his way up and putting the pressure on the hips of Hinderman.
Pressure on Hinderman now to at least score in this period.
Well, it's 7-0, and that means you're on the verge of at least a major decision here, which is an extra team point. Trying to hit a quick switch, but that's stopped in a hurry. Down to 15 seconds remaining here in period number 2. Again, we're at 144 pounds. Zach Moline taking on the younger Hinderman here in Brock for Iowa Grant Highland. That'll be the end of the period, and a 7-0 lead here for Moline.
Got to be one of a younger brother of the really good Moline they had last year, the year before.
Yeah,
I think it was just last year.
Wasn't he a state champion?
I'm thinking close to it, if not.
Well, David Moline is a state champ, returning state champ.
Oh, it is. Okay, he's still on the team.
Still here,
yes,
yep.
There you go. So we did know the name was familiar. We'll catch up.
Well, yeah. Well, it's going to be Hinderman in the down position. He tried to stand up, and boy, Moline brought him right back to the mat quickly. And now that armbar series and a half Nelson, trying to ride him over the top here. The far side half, that's not going to get you a lot, except slowing down your opponent when he's on the bottom. Now back to a more conventional try to ride and trip on the front side, bringing him to the mat. Moline again controlling the tempo of this matchup and not letting Hinderman get a whole lot started on the underneath. The other question here too, though, Kirk, is when do you say we want that extra point, that major decision? Do you let him go and look for the takedown?
I would think pretty quick here. Usually when they hit the 1 minute mark, a lot of coaches are starting to look for that.
Right.
This will be his chance here as we go out of bounds. I think they're discussing that right now. Maybe the choice is they still feel maybe he can turn him one more time.
Maybe one more shot at getting the turn. Hinderman with a nice quick stand-up and a low back trip here by Moline.
Close to locking hands there, but he did a nice job of letting it happen.
Just as they hit the mat, didn't he? 40 seconds to go here in the match.
Now getting close to where some activity needs to be created too. Now coach is asking him to let him go, but maybe he's too much tied up in there.
He might be. He just can't get it.
Now he can let him go.
Now they hurt him.
Oh, didn't push him out far enough, but now he's going to let him go anyway. So it's 7-1. 25 seconds, Ken.
Yes, here we go. It's going to be a big one now. Can Moline in a strategic move, letting Hinderman go, pick up the takedown and win by a major decision. 7-1 your score. He needs a takedown. Under 15 seconds to go in the match. Coaches employ him to get things going, start up that engine. But Hinderman is going to stay in good position, and the win will go to Moline 7-1 at 144 pounds.
Not taking anything away from Moline, but this just didn't appear like the Brock Hinderman that we're used to seeing. You always worry about this time of year if young athletes get a little bit of illness going in with them.
Yep.
But we'll see. They're both going to be there Saturday again. We'll see what that matchup looks like on Saturday.
Could be a fun one once more.
But a big win there for Aquinas, and now a 12-9 score as we go on to 150. And I think that is Elliot Bieba over there now.
Well, all he's got to do is, so you get, 3 pounds? So if he's a 38-pounder, he can weigh 141. All he's got to do is weigh 41 1/4.
Yep. And then he can say he's a 44-pounder.
Yep.
And he can wrestle at 150. So this ought to be an interesting match here. At 150, get to here in a second. Aquinas has got Trevor Paulson, who's a pretty good, and they also were, Trevor Paulson there. So this should be a good matchup here.
Well, and they had Paulson listed at 165, so he's dropped down over the course of the year. That's quite a change. And you can see there is a little bit of size difference there.
Oh, yeah. That's who it is, Trevor Paulson, the junior from Aquinas, taking on the fine senior for Iowa Grant Highland, and he comes out with a real nice single leg takedown there and gets the first takedown, 2-0. Looks like he's going to go takedown release. He's already saying that I may be lighter, but I'm going to show you I'm here to wrestle, and got very physical there at the edge of the mat. We'll see what goes on here as we restart the period. Now down to a minute. Paulson tried to come in with a single leg shot. Bieba countered it. Now he's trying to use a near ankle and a slide by to get around and secure the next takedown here. But so far, he's being blocked off there by Paulson. Now we're down to 45 seconds, but again, now Bieba really good with those underhooks, and now he just powers into it. He used a front headlock and just didn't go for the throw, but he used it well enough to get his takedown. 4-1, and he likes his feet. He thinks here with the 30 seconds he can get one more, so he lets Paulson go one more time.
Paulson's experience also kept him from going over towards his back, too, once he realized that semi-headlock was on him.
Yeah, he knew he was in a bad position, if the leverage continued the way it was. So he bailed out of that himself and just kind of tripoded out. 10 seconds to go here, though. Now, there's nice for that heel pick again. But Paulson was able to block it off, and a little bit to his advantage is he's going to hold the score here to 4-2 after one period. Aquinas' choice. Paulson will choose down. 12-9 now is our team score. Iowa Grant Highland out in front, wearing their red uniforms tonight with the IGH on the front. Aquinas in their typical blue-gold uniform, I guess you'd call that.
Yep.
Oh, now looking for a tilt. This is like we talked about before. These are the type of moves that Iowa Grant is very efficient at. They like tying up your arms. And they like tilting you either way, either coming across their body or just that near side, or what a lot of people would call a cheap tilt.
Yep, they trap that arm and elbow.
And they're very good at it. Again, we're going to go neutral again. Now with a 6-3 lead, though. Elliott's got to be concerned here, like you said earlier. They feel they have an advantage here at him at this weight, but he's got to be looking for, again, for IOGH, he's got to be looking for bonus points like Aquinas needed in the last match. So far, the only team to get bonus points is, well, I'll take that back because they got
they did get
Aquinas
a pin.
did get a pin too.
Yep.
But minute to go here, and we're still tight with a 6-3. And as soon as they say that, there's a nice duck under, and he secures another takedown. Now looking for that tilt again. That time he put a lot of pressure on it. Was going to go for I wouldn't call that was a cheap tilt. He was going for a real leverage tilt there. And those are the ones you got to be a little bit careful of, that you can actually get caught up yourself. Don't let him go again here. 40 seconds to go in this period. 8-4. Oh, there was that beautiful duck under again. Comes right around 10-4 now. This is the case here. I would almost, if I was him, I would ride it out unless he can tilt him again. I don't know if I'd let him go, and I think that's kind of what he's going to do. 20 seconds here to go in the period. He's just content here now to just put some pressure on him, on Paulson, and see if maybe he can take some of the steam out of him by riding him a little bit hard. And still looking for maybe a tilt here, but hopefully he knows there's only 5 seconds to go and doesn't let him go. But Paulson is to his feet, trying real hard there. Could have actually hit him for stalling there, but there was only for maybe like 2 or 3 seconds. It was close. 10-4 as we go into the third period. You just can't hang on that ankle when we're talking sectional wrestling, Ken. You knew that yourself.
Absolutely, yeah.
There are not many officials going to go along with that. 10-4, Biba down, starting the third period. He's still 4 points away from even getting a major. So he's got to score and score here. Escape and a takedown only gets him up to a 9-point advantage. But now Paulson says, I'm going to shoot in. But Biba, as we've seen all year, is very good at countering here. Now we're into some good spaghetti wrestling. I don't know if there's going to be any sauce with that or not.
Maybe not.
Now Biba does a nice job of countering himself, that he did step over it. But still no takedown here yet. And there it is. As soon as I see how when you preface things, Ken, you can always get them to happen.
I think he was listening to you.
Yep. But now he does have that advantage, but he's going to want to work on it some more. Got to be careful there. I would almost think Biba's maybe looking at trying to set up a big 5-point move or something there where he can take Paulson to his back. 13-5. We're down less than a minute to go. Looking for a front headlock. From that front headlock, if he could jack him up, he's going to try to basically like a lateral throw or a big power headlock throw. Paulson smart, shoots in on a single leg here to counteract that. But it's also for Paulson here, if he can get the takedown, he cuts into that. There we go, that's a good call. 35 seconds or 34.4, 13-5 for Paulson here. A takedown. Drops that major out and takes it away from Iowa Grant and takes that team point away. As we're going to see in both of these big duels that we're doing tonight, Ken, every team point is going to count.
It's crucial.
Any bonus points you can add are going to be big. Come down to those last few matches. Right now, it's kind of Biba's just looking to maybe see if he can hang on to this and not really give up anything. And down to the last 10 seconds, he's in a good position to get out of here with a nice 13-5 move. You got to give credit for him. You know, Elliott did one here for the team. Moving up 2 weight classes is big.
In essence, that's what he did. And people go, wait a minute, you can't go up 2, but he can do it legally by weighing just a touch over at 138, which is 141 because you get 3 pounds.
Yep. We'll see him on Saturday. He'll be back down to 138.
He'll be back in his machine effort there at 138. Yep. You're right.
So now we'll see what's coming up here at 150, because that means that they took their fine sophomore out there, Jackson Bussey, and now he's going to move up to 57 more than likely here. But now that looks like the other Hinderman, though. Or no, that would be, this is probably Emhoff here. Take that back.
Uh-huh.
So maybe Bussey, that's right. Emhoff was in between there at 44. Oh, Hinderman was at 44. So Emhoff would have normally been at 50. So that could mean that they're going to be sliding all the way up and maybe even get to the point where their fine 215-pounder may be sliding up and maybe go the heavyweight. But now we're speculating. Back to you, Ken.
Yeah. Well, this is Pinky that is out here on the mat, and boy, it's going to be a snap trying to come up with a takedown here. Pinky is able to bail out of that one with a nice arm spin to save himself from being taken down. And again, quick feet by both of these wrestlers.
Yep. We know that Emhoff is a fine wrestler for Iowa Grant Highland. Pinky is a good wrestler for Crosse Aquinas too, but he's been out with an injury, and he just came back here not too long ago. I think he, placed at his super regional with like a 16-2 mark. He was either in the championship or close to it.
Imhoff with the long arms is able to secure a takedown. He went down low and got the ankle of Pinky, and now he's on top here, and he's got a cradle locked up, and he's going to get the turn. Imhoff is kind of one of those that one of the quieter guys on the team when you watch him wrestle, but boy, I tell you what, he will give you a lot of pressure. If you give him an inch, he's going to take the mile.
And he's had a really good year at 35-4 for the junior. We're going to see a lot more of him on Saturday, and it's going to take a really good wrestler or really good wrestlers to keep him out of the state tournament.
I certainly would think so. Down to 20 seconds to go here, trying to kind of do a little ball and chain action here, trying to get a tilt here, and Pinky is able to keep that pressure on the hips. Now Imhoff comes up towards the head and tries to lock up underneath here.
He said here really soon here, you get up into the real solid wrestlers when you get up to David Moline at 175, and then Tyson Martin in there too. And then Brady Leonard at 215. So it looks like in this area here is where Iowa Grant's going to try to make some of their moves and then have hopefully enough upstairs to stay with Aquinas.
Well, it's a little bit of strength on strength in one sense, too. There's a nice little sit-through and picking up that reversal. And now some back points by Imhoff. And there, Kirk, was a lot of leverage, and he's using that length of his body to his advantage. He's got the legs caught here. Oh, he gets the pin.
That was big. And you can see Pinky still favoring that shoulder, which you mentioned earlier. The young man just came back here towards the end of the year, but a little bit of pride wound there too.
A 2:23 pin time. 2:23 pin time for the Iowa Grant Highland squad.
Yep.
And Imhoff with the big win.
Imhoff did a nice job there. Now we're going to move up to 165, and we'll expect to see Jackson Bussey coming out here. And we'll see who Aquinas puts out there. They've got a couple options here now, either Anthony Miller, Ezra Barna, or Isaac Miller.
Score is 22-9. Iowa Grant out in front with the team lead.
Real quick takedown there, as it is Anthony Miller, the senior for Aquinas, taking the mat. Normally a 57-pounder moving up here. But again, as we mentioned too, that Jackson Bussey is normally a 157-pounder too. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out to the upper weight classes, because we know that Iowa Grant's has some solid wrestlers up there. They still have Emerson Moan that they can use at 75, but if Emerson Moan goes out at 75, he'll be looking at David Moline, and that'll be a tough matchup.
That's a tough one, yep.
Right now, Jackson Bussey has got a nice 4-1 lead here as he is wrestling Anthony Miller from Aquinas. The Aquinas wrestlers, we pass a little bit that we can't give you records. We can give you records if we funnel through. Ken and I both printed out the programs for Saturday there, but we're going to stick with, here's another cradle. That's been kind of the theme tonight for Iowa Grant. I don't know if they worked on them all week or what, but we're seeing a lot of cross-face cradles, and there's another pin.
Wow.
That's a familiar theme for tonight.
Very much so.
28-9 now as we get done with 165.
A 103 pin time, Kirk.
Thanks, Ken. That'll be interesting what's the next matchup here, but I got to believe Aquinas is going to start sending out some of their horses.
That brings the team score to Iowa Grant Highland 28-9 over La Crosse Aquinas. And we move to 175 pounds.
Should be Emerson Moan coming out here for IG. And we'll see if I think that's probably going to be David Moline coming out there for
Moline has a ticket to the Badgers, is my understanding. He's a recruit there.
Oh, that's cool.
And you look, I mean, he's got that.
Our crew going over to Wisconsin Dells on Saturday. We'll get to see Mason Lane from Lodi, who's going to be a Badger football player next year.
Oh, he's going to be,
too.
good.
And
Yeah. Well, Moline is going for the wrestling, so.
Oh, he's going for the wrestling.
Yep.
That's even better, yeah.
It is. It's nice to see.
And it is David Moline out there, the fine senior for Aquinas. So this should be a good matchup. Senior, Emerson Moan with a 32-8 record. Now you really got me interested. I'm going to start trying to find these Highland, Aquinas wrestlers, because I know darn well that they don't.
We're going to lock up here. We got a body lock here, Kirk, because I'm going to jump in as, Moline is able to fight that off. Moan had a pretty good body lock off from a kind of a fake headlock, head throw by Moline. But then Moline was able, with pressure, to fight off that potential body lock. Now near the edge of the mat. And I tell you what, Emerson Moan is not letting Moline look at getting back in. Now they'll get to turn, and now out of bounds they go on a quick shot by Moline. Back to the center they go here with 37 seconds remaining on the clock, period number 1.
Knowing that we've watched Emerson Moan wrestle all year, you'd like to say he's maybe trying to keep this match close, but you and I both know better. He's out there to win.
He's not. It's not. There's no close in his vocabulary, I don't think, right?
But he does have a fine opponent here in David Moline.
Returning state champion here for the Blue Golds. A senior now, looking for a second top podium spot here at the state tournament next week at the Kohl Center. Trying to get a little shucked by, but Moan stayed right in a good position here. And that'll be the end of period number 1. No score in this matchup. Moan will have his choice, and he's going to defer. And Moline will take down. And I think that's to Moline's advantage right now, Kirk.
And, you don't know if there's always the potential for sudden victories and ultimate tiebreakers when you have two high-quality wrestlers like this. You and I have talked about that before. In a 0-0 match, you're almost better to score first here.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of scoring first, Moline does just that with a stand-up. He had hand control, and he's able to turn in and pick up the point. Moan basically had to let him go because of that pressure. Now they're right back to where they were before. Moan leaning in with that head right on the chest, holding on to that right arm at the elbow, trying a little bit of a duck under, but Moline looks to try and snap him. Now they'll break away.
Moan has been doing a good job of tying up Moline and taking him out of, I believe, some of his offense.
Well, he's really slowing down things. He wants to be more, he just seems like he's more of a power kind of wrestler in this.
Oh, nice
attempt there to high crotch.
Yep.
Moan still on the attack. Now Moline will re-attack here on the shot, but he's stretched out here.
There were some really nice shots there, Ken.
That's really good.
Shot and reshot.
Yeah, and you talked about that before, Kirk. When they can do that, that's saying something. And both these wrestlers, it's amazing. And I go back to that fast twitch muscle. Boy, you've got to have that going for you today.
38 seconds left here in the second period.
Back to the center they go, on their feet once again. 1-0 to score here with Moline of the Blue Golds. Across Aquinas Blue Golds with the 1-point advantage. Now a quick snap, trying to cut the corner here, and securing the takedown is Moline.
Well, we're going to see a lot more of that tonight, Ken, too. That front headlock and the spin behind.
Yeah.
Either going right in. We saw several times tonight go right into a near side cradle, but this case he just wanted the takedown. And the takedown is big in this match.
Very much so. It's now 3-0. And I don't know that Moan was going to give him a whole lot there either, you think?
No, but he did a nice job with that front headlock. He knew he maybe wasn't going to get the near side cradle, but he at least made sure he got his takedown. 3-0 lead going into the third period.
It's going to be Moan in the down position to get things started. And a good cover here by Moline. Moan up with hand control, and Moline's going to have to let him go. Kind of just was holding out there for a little bit and then said, we'll release. With under 10 seconds going by in that period, probably about 7-8 seconds. Moan trying to come in with a shot. Oh, and now he's going to get a double leg. He switches to the single. Moline really putting some pressure on. Moan wants to go back to that double leg, but just too much pressure here, Kirk. And now a front headlock trying to shuck him by is Moline. Moline now with a snap. And he goes down low on the legs, and he'll get the takedown.
Strength-wise, they're fairly equal, but quickness-wise, we've seen Moline is definitely just a hair quicker.
Just a touch, you're right. And that's been to his advantage here, as he has that 5-1 lead over Emerson Moan.
If Emerson wasn't so strong, he would have got taken down a heck of a lot easier there.
Oh, very much,
He fought several of them off with just his position and his strength.
And I think there, what I like when you said that, Kirk, that position is huge. The Iowa Grand Highland, they are just, and so is La Crosse Aquinas. Fundamentally, you're not going to give up a whole lot. You really got to work to get them out of position.
There's going to be a lot of matches that we're going to repeat that statement all night long. 5-2 here. We want to keep you in this.
That's
30
right.
seconds to go, Ken. Stay right on top of this.
They keep right out of bounds here. They'll come back with 27 ticks left on the clock.
Takedown by Moan. Expect a quick release and try for another takedown.
They're going to lock up here with the Russian tie by Moline, which can burn off a few seconds. Moan wanted that front headlock. Now they'll break away once again, staying in that good position here for a takedown. Underhook series by Moline.
Moline's job is just to keep him tied up here, and he's going to do it.
And that's what's going to happen. 5-2 your score here as David Moline, returning state champ, trying to get to that state tournament. He wants that team title as well. Picks up the win, 5-2.
5-2 score, though, shows Moan that he can compete against him. Although Moan actually, though, should be down at 165 come Saturday.
That'll be interesting, won't it?
Yeah.
That's takes some guts to go say, yeah, I'll take one. I'll go for the team.
Yeah.
Take on a state champ.
So now we should have another. Tyson Martin was either state champion or in the finals last year for Aquinas.
As a freshman?
Wrestling now 190 pounds for Aquinas.
He was?
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot about that one.
Yep.
I know Len here was in the finals.
I was thinking Martin. He was.
Well, I think you're right. They had 5 kids in the finals, I think. They had a phenomenal state tournament.
Yep.
Now that you say that.
And he's taking on the other Hinderman, I would believe, here. If I get my computer to update again.
Boy, nice little duck under here, Kirk. Right into a single leg.
These are, besides Fitzpatrick down low, these are really the 3 big studs, or some of the studs. They got quite a few of them. So does Iowa Grant. But this is, now we got some blood time, and maybe that'll now let us catch up on our matchup here, which I'm pretty sure I was right. Yeah, this is Tyson Martin, the sophomore, as you mentioned. He takes on Gavin Hinderman, the junior, with a 27-12 record.
We'll take a break.
Okay, now we're back to action after a little blood time there for Hinderman. 2-1 score, though, as Martin let him go before the blood time. Hinderman's task here against a very fine, that was a real nice slide by to a single leg snatch, and he just caught Hinderman almost totally off balance and just dropped him right through his butt and got the takedown. As we saw earlier in a lot of these matches, both these teams are really good at working arms and looking for tilts. Martin kind of lets him up some and then just finally lets him go. Hinderman, as we mentioned, a fine junior for Iowa Grand Highland, but he's run into a real buzzsaw here in Tyson Martin. 4-2 the score right now. There's not a lot of moves that IOG has got left to do. We're going to have to, as Ken and I were just talking during the break there, we were kind of wondering what they're going to do with their fine 215-pounder Brody Brokop. See if he's going to stay at 215 or if they're going to move him up to 285. There's not a whole lot of opportunities left up here for Iowa Grant to get a favorable matchup with Aquinas. As we said, as we go back to the bottom side there, those last 3 weight classes, that's where it's going to be tough for Iowa Grant to score down there too.
Well, and I would think that Aquinas, they're going to want to get some pinpoints here.
Yeah, they need some bonus points up here too. You can kind of count on maybe when they get down to those last 2 weight classes that they'd pick up 12 points. But this is going to get interesting here. It's going to be these last 2 weight classes, I think, will really be, quite telling here to what happens. But then, at 106 is going to be a match, as we said, of just younger wrestlers going at each other, but they're going to have a significant impact on the team score. So far, Hinderman, we've watched him all year too at a lot of tournaments. Ken, he gives you everything he's got. And now we got some more blood time, so we'll take another break. 6-2, 1:35 left to go here in the second period. Still out in front is Tyson Martin with a nice 6-2 lead over Gavin Hinderman from IGH. As Ken and I have talked about, and even Carl and I talked about last week, there's a lot of these co-ops that have really helped wrestling communities keep a significant footprint in this sport.
And that's really huge when you think about it.
Yep. That's the future of a lot of the schools in Wisconsin. And we're one of the few states that hasn't, consolidated schools. But at least by consolidating sports programs, we keep them competitive.
Yep.
We're down to the last 40 seconds now. Martin did get another takedown. You saw him get that. Now he's up 8-2 here in this match. 30 seconds to go. We're approaching this. He's got an arm bar in. We used to call I guess he doesn't quite have the Cubicidian. He just got an arm bar and he's just trying to run that. 20 seconds to go here now. But P in peril like he is, Hinderman's not really in too much danger of being turned here. Oh, wow, okay. Call that either way. In this case here, he called Hinderman for staying down, and there's that tilt we were looking at. But time runs out. He did give up a stalling point, so now we are getting that range of bonus points for Martin. It's 9-2, and he's going to be riding, and I think Coach Deke Stanek is saying, well, we're going to go neutral right away, which then will make it 9-3, a 6-point advantage. So a takedown here gives him a 8-point lead. And there's a good shot on a single leg. And he should come out of this with that advantage. He wants to be careful he doesn't hang on here too long because Martin is trying for a funky Granby. But now he funked himself right into a reversal. And he didn't even get the back points. So that's interesting.
that was real close.
Yes, it was. He was going real hard trying to get some back points. Then he funked himself into a reversal. But now it's 9-5, so now the pressure's going to be back on him, even if he gets away here. And got a minute 9, though. We'll stick with this. A 9-5 score. But now Martin's made himself some work. And Coach Deke Stanek out there encouraging him, kind of telling him what we need. And now we're going to have some more blood time. This time it's going to be blood, I believe. No, it's just going to still be on Hinderman. 109, 9-5 now in favor of, or maybe we got a lost contact or Okay, we're going to get rid of that, whatever it is. And Martin's going to be down. Hinderman riding. 109, 9-5 score. And as Ken and I were discussing there in the short break, we're pretty confident that Coach Stanek told Martin, we need bonus points here. Again, he's trying some funkier moves, but he's got to be a little bit careful there, especially rolling across his back, because Hinderman is a quality wrestler. He got the reversal. Now he's going to give up the escape, which is going to make it 11-6, which is only a 5-point advantage. He's down to 40 seconds to go. The other thing, maybe you got to be a little bit careful if you're Hinderman here too. You don't want to give up 11-6 now. He's up by 5. You don't want to give up a stalling point. Oh, he pushed in a little bit too hard there and gave up another takedown. So that's going to be a 2-point exchange, 13-7 now. Needs to just lock up here. That's not, you don't want to go to your butt here though. Could give up more than a takedown.
Yeah, you can get exposed real quick here.
Yeah, he is getting back to his base, but he's got one leg in the wrong spot, although he gave it up there. But it is now 15-7. So if he hangs on to this, with 12 seconds to go, he does have his bonus point. So now it comes up to Hinderman to really get out of here. But even just giving up another turn isn't going to kill him. But this escape could be big. Real close to locked hands there. Iowa Grant thought maybe they had it, but I don't know. I didn't see it well enough. Oh, good job there by Martin. He did get the bonus point. 15-7, your final, as we move on to 2:15 in a 28-16 score in favor of IGH.
Back we come here to Fennimore, Wisconsin, the Fennimore High School. It's at 215 pounds, and it's going to be Lenhier and Brockup. These two wrestlers, I tell you what, you got one with some good height and leverage, and in Brockup, Lenhier is, he's tall, but Brockup still has a little bit on him. Now a body lock, trying to get that body lock is Lenhier. He loves to go upper body. We've seen that at the state tournament. And throughout the year, he was kind of that way at regional, super regional. Now here's his body lock. He's got it up. He's going to move around to the side and now collapse that far hip and pick up the takedown. Brady Lynn here with the opening takedown and a 2-0 lead. Now he'll release Brockup. Bodie trailing by 1 here as they go back up on their feet. Again, that leverage, you just never know. You can get that throw.
So we've seen Brockup over the year, especially you remember the RC Invitational where he caught T. Perkins in a move. He's got some dangerous stuff himself.
Yes.
But as you mentioned before, Brady Lynn here, he's one of the more solid athletes, and again a state place winner last year for the Aquinas.
He was a state runner-up last year.
Yep.
Looking to be on the podium once again.
Well, these two again will match up on Saturday, as we're looking forward to that. I know Ken and I both are. That's these 1, 2, 3 teams here, and they kind of flip-flop back and forth. Aquinas could have made a run at one of these 1 or 2s if they ever would have saw them again, but they never got the opportunity to wrestle either one of these teams again, as we saw Iowa Grant and Fennimore kind of flip-flopping back and forth the last couple weeks here. Who's number 1? Right now, Fennimore's up to being number 1 right now.
2-1 the score as period number 2 will begin, and deferring to period 3 is going to be Brockup of Iowa Grant Highland. Well, Len here, as he took a quick glance, there was no question about what the coaches wanted. Back up on your feet.
Well, as you mentioned, he's got the capability from his feet, especially since he is, very proficient at throws, to not only get more points but also get a big thing.
Yeah, he could get a huge toss and wind up putting Brockup on the mat. Now Brockup comes up with his own body lock. And an inside trip by Len here puts Brockup in a tough spot. And the fall. Len here reversed the tables on that body lock that Brockup had. And Len here gets the pin.
Now we got a 28-22 score as we go into the last 4 matches.
That's somewhere around the 2:20 or 2:25 pin time there. As they clean up the mat, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come right back. More action.
85 pounds for Aquinas, Brett Zilkowski. Wrestling for Iowa Grand Highland, Bronson McComb.
Yep. Max Leskowski for Aquinas. He takes on Bronson McComb, as we've watched him the last couple weeks at the Clash and also last week at the Super Regional. Ken did. He's solid for Iowa Grand Highland, but you can tell that as Lesky, you know, I think he was playing some defensive line or offensive line
I'm
for
sure
that state championship Aquinas team.
Yeah, he definitely is solid.
Yep. And then, of course, look at the workout partners he's got at 215 and 190 to go out every day with. But a 28-22 score now, down to the last 4 matches here. Almost got to say that this is one where maybe Iowa Grant needs a surprise, and McCone is capable of it. He's a solid wrestler. He needs to catch Max here and maybe secure something big. Oh, I didn't. I thought he said Max, but
it's Brett, huh?
Yeah, now
it is Brett.
Brett Zilkowski. It is that they're showing on Facebook. Or excuse me, on Track Wrestling, and I don't even see him listed here.
Huh.
So
interesting.
He must have been somebody that they either finally got out or. Oh no, there he is down there. Now I see him. He's a 215-pounder. Moving up to 285.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep.
That's even more.
Zilkowski.
Yeah.
And there we just mentioned, though, as a 215-pounder, probably wrestling most of the year behind Brady Len here. You know, it probably means he's kind of solid.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yes. Boy, though, no score here in the first period is they both just kind of filled each other out there. And then at the end there, Zilkowski got a little bit aggressive, looking for a single leg shot. But McCone told him, you know, hey, that ain't going to happen very easily either. 0-0 as we go into the second period. And Zilkowski, Brett, will be down. And Bronson McCone riding in on top.
And that was his choice here, Kirk, and he did take down right away.
There's finally our first point of the match. McCone tried to hold him down, but as we saw here so far, Zilkowski, you know, he's going to be a hair bit quicker than probably McCone being a 215-pounder. McCone's a pretty solid 285. I'm not quite going to say he weighs that, but he's a very athletic young man too.
And that's the part that's kind of fun to watch when the bigger guys, and athletic as they can be.
And we always just were talking to somebody the other day about in wrestling, you know, there was a lot of us that thought, well, we come up with this 215 or 220-pound weight class. You know, what is it going to be? Boy, that's been one of the most exciting weight classes ever since it's been inducted into the sport of wrestling. Boy, you can see these young men both want it, and they both know this is a big match here. If you get to watch this later on, this is a big match. This is going to have a significant impact on who's going to win this dual meet and advance to take on number 1 Fennimore.
Again, number 2 and number 3 teams here.
Yep.
In the matchup, Iowa Grand Highland and Aquinas.
Like I said, they met earlier in the year up at the Dells tournament up there, the Devil's Duels up there. But there again, Aquinas, early tournaments aren't that good for them when they have all their athletes, or a good share of them in the state football finals. Zilkowski is doing a nice job of trying to get on a single leg, but he better be a little bit careful there because McCone has got good balance and good agility himself. So we're down now the last 15 seconds. Again, this time he did use that quickness and he stayed out from underneath McCone, and he was able to slip around the outside and get a takedown.
Hitting that outside single, and he kind of a sweep single is what we call it. And when McCone tried to, put the chest on his back, he just ducked underneath it even more.
He just had enough quickness there that when McCone tried to put his weight on him, it just went right to the mat, and Zilakowski went around. Strategic move here by McCone. He's not quite sure he can get away, so he's going to stay up on his feet, and he's going to go for that. To be honest with you, I think he's looking for that decent throw that's going to give him, not only a takedown, but it's going to give him a chance to pin Zilakowski.
Yeah.
A win here for Aquinas would put the team scores at 28 to 25 going into the last 3 weight classes. And as we said, right now, that advantage, except for maybe 106, looks to be in Aquinas' favor, especially with a state champion in Jake Fitzpatrick at 113. Down pretty close to a minute 15, 3-0. The pressure's going to be kind of mounting here a little bit on McCone, where he's going to have to get or try for the big move.
On the roster program here, Kirk, the Iowa Grant Highland squad does not have a 13-pounder listed, but I'm sure they must have weighed in somebody at 13, I would think.
And those are hard to say what's going to happen there, because Iowa Grant Highland did list in track wrestling. There's another quick move, but now this is where McCone could maybe use that lateral. He got McCone for stalling. I guess I never realized he got Warren for stalling.
Well, unless it was fleeing the mat, but it didn't seem like it was fleeing the mat.
Whatever, it's another point, so now it's 4-0. Although they didn't, I'm not sure they caught what the officials scored there. Doesn't make any difference. It's still a 3-0 score. Now we're down to the last 20 seconds. We actually think it's 4-0. It really comes now. McCone's got to get a big move. He's got to get some sort of toss where he can throw Zilakowski to his back and get points. But now we're down to almost 5 seconds. It just doesn't look like it's going to happen, Ken. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens here at 106. A little bit of clock malfunction, but the match is over. And it doesn't make a difference, 3-0, 4-0. Zilakowski is still going to add 3 team points. And now we're 28 to 25 as we go back to 106 and finish out the last 3 weight classes.
And we'll turn right around and have that match for you here in just a second. We come here to Fennimore, and I tell you what, here, Wisconsin team sectional, Division III.
Cal Smith is your Aquinas wrestler against Aiden Silvers.
And Smith is going to get in right away on a single leg and bring Silvers down to the mat for the takedown and locking up that arm bar. He's got the arm bar and a wrist. He's going to go after the pinning combination. Coming up with the, trying to get that turn. Silvers fighting as much as he can. He's got himself based out, but boy, that leverage is going to be tough. And now he's got the turn. Smith with the turn. Going to try and sink things down here. Still fighting the shoulder up here on that left side. Make it the right side here. The shoulder is up. Looking underneath here. It's getting very, very close. Let go of the, he's let go of the arm bar. There it is. There's the fall. 1:06. And Crosse Aquinas has taken the first lead of this match, 31-28. Well, an interesting situation here now. Remember, we started at 126 pounds, so we have 113 and 120. We only have 2 matches left, Kirk.
Let's go on to these. This is a key match up here. And this is one of those where you know that the young man from Iowa Grant, which would be
wrestling now 113 pounds for Aquinas, Jake Fitzpatrick. Wrestling for Iowa Grant Highland, Jace Connor.
Jace Connor here, the sophomore, going out here against a monumental task, taking on Jake Fitzpatrick. And if Fitzpatrick gets the fall here, then basically the dual meet will be over. And Aquinas will be moving on.
Any bonus point here would take care of that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And he's just, things are right now looking highly in the favor of Aquinas to win this duel.
I think some folks are going to go and get positioned in the other mat.
Yeah, several of them are looking at that. We have to hope our spot stays secured. Now, at least you threw in those big suitcases.
Got the
if
suitcases
nothing else, we can
there.
stand in the top row.
Yeah, if we have to. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and here comes quickly by Fitzpatrick. He's locked that up, and he's got Jace Connor in a lot of trouble here. And this is going to be basically the dual meet right here. There it is.
There it is. You're right.
That'll make it 6 more, and they make it 37-28. And realistically, no way for IG to come back here. Well, Lucas Christensen, I think he could have gave Roger Flagey a good match, but we'll see even here what happens. Maybe even a quick case here where Deke is saying, well, we really don't have to wrestle it unless you want to wrestle.
Yeah. 47-second pin time, by the way.
And this is where you see two fine gentlemen. I believe they could have even been teammates at UWL.
Yep. I believe they were. They're going to come out and wrestle.
I think they are. I think they talked to each other and asked each other what was the fair thing to do here.
Well, you know, I tell you what, that kind of goes with the integrity of the two coaches and what they want to do.
Yep.
Let's compete, you know.
Yep.
So hats off to them on that.
And again, as we talked about earlier, some coaches like to see their athletes get that match and get any butterflies out of the way here. And, and Roger Flagey is one of the higher quality wrestlers that Aquinas has got. And, I mean, they're set up good here in both this match and next match to come against Fennimore.
Yeah.
And Lucas Christensen, he's had a good year for IG too. He's won some big matches for him too.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, I think it's your turn, so I'll
be
quiet for a while. I'll let you finish up here.
Well, they're going to go into this with underhook by Flagey. Now Grant Highland now breaking out of that. And again, for them, this is, and I just drew the blank. I'm sorry, Connor? Is it Chase?
No, this is Lucas Christensen.
Lucas, yes, thank you.
Yep.
Oh, Lucas going right down low, catching the ankles. And he will pick up the takedown. So Christensen with the 2. Getting the first one underway. First points anyways. Flagey looking to try and sit out here. Try and get some hand control. He's going to get Christensen up over the top a little bit high. And now he's going to try and go out the back door. And he'll pick up the reversal. Well, a slick little move there as he was able to kind of coax Christensen up over on the shoulders, and then he just went right between the legs out the back door, and it's tied at 2 apiece. Under a minute to go in period number 1.
Roger was a freshman last year, which is kind of obvious if he's a sophomore this year. But he was at 106, you know, and he did fine. I think he even got to the state tournament. But, you know, when you say the Flagey name, you think of his brother who had an outstanding career for Aquinas. So this was one of these matches, if it would have came down with something on the line, there's no real given one here to win. They're both very competitive.
They are. Trying to get that arm bar in with 22 seconds to go in period number 1. Christensen able to fight that off.
It's kind of interesting a little bit, Ken, as I'm looking around here. You talk about jockeying for position. Because Fennimore has such a large crowd, they're kind of overflowing down at the other end down there. The poor Iowa Grant people, they're going to have to scramble for Aquinas people are going to have to scramble for a spot to sit.
That's right. Well, time runs out. We're going to keep a tie score here at 2 apiece. And it's going to be, I think, a defer here by Christensen of Iowa Grant Highland. And Flagey goes and says, I'll take the down position. He's going to see if he can't work out from underneath once again. Christensen able to get those legs in and trying to go with like a banana split kind of a deal. He's got it locked up here, but Flagey not giving up any position. Keeping those hips down, trying to work on the leg a little bit. Now both legs coming in by Christensen. And there's a kind of key there where Fliggy wants to just try and stay as shallow as possible and not get stretched out.
He's got to be careful if he can get that power half in there, then he could get turned. Oh, but now he lost one of those holds with a leg.
Now here comes Fliggy trying to go out the back door again like he did previously in period number 1. He's very close to it. He's got that head free, and there it is. Able to get the reversal, and he'll take the lead with 55 seconds to go in period number 2. Throws in the armbar and the far side half. Boy, that's a tough one there, and out of bounds.
Christensen just couldn't keep the double hooks in there. You know that if you can't keep them both in there, the next thing you're going to do is get high and you're going to get flopped underneath.
Going to give up some points.
Yep.
Well, I tried to get a quick sit out here, but Fliggy just too strong on that tight waist, stopping any kind of move.
Would help Christensen a lot to get some points here. Oh, no, trying for that tilt again.
Boy.
Might have tried for it too. Oh, he almost tried for it too hard and went underneath.
He luckily he had a hold. Fliggy had a hold of that wrist well enough that he was able to spin back out on top and regain position.
That was the only thing that saved him, Ken.
Yes, it was. You're right. Down to 12 seconds to go here in the second period. 4-2 score. La Crosse Aquinas. Fliggy with the lead. The team, they have it locked up here at 37-28 with this match to go. So Aquinas will face Fennimore here, and that'll be it'll take about a 15-minute break, I would assume.
Well, we're going to have to allow for at least Fennimore to warm up.
Yep.
Because a lot of their wrestlers didn't have a match. Christensen must have chose up here, right?
I think it was.
Fliggy chose up.
Fliggy chose up, yeah.
Oh, okay. They are going takedowns no matter what.
And there it is. Fliggy with the lead at 6-2. Down to 1:20 to go. Fliggy wanting that head lever, coffee grinder, but Christensen not going to let him dig that out. And now they'll stretch back out again. Fliggy trying to inch Christensen up on the mat so he can maybe get that head lever. Now Christensen wants to come up, but that's where the wrist is going to be to the advantage of Fliggy. Now he goes right into an armbar, and they are so close to being out of bounds. And there they go. Down to 36 seconds here, Kirk, and we have seen an excellent matchup here tonight in this dual meet, number 2 versus number 3 in the state.
As we talked about that earlier, too, and looking at the future for Iowa Grand here, they really only have the 2 really solid seniors in Emerson Moan and Elliot Biba. So, the future looks bright for them. So look here throughout the year, they need some lighter weights, but those where sometimes a good freshman can step in and give you that.
Oh, right. And McGuire, who was coming in with a 16-2 record. So
yeah, he could fill Biba's spot.
Oh, yeah, he'll be all right. Here comes that armbar. Once again, there's going to be time's going to run out here. They will not get a turn, and that'll do it. 6-2. Fliggy picking up the win. Roger Fliggy, sophomore for the La Crosse Aquinas Blue Golds, and they will come away with a 40-28 victory here over the Iowa Grant Highland squad. Well, there you have it. Congratulations to those 2 teams. They come across and shake hands. We are going to say thanks for watching this Western Wisconsin video production as we go get set up for the championship match. It's going to be number 1, Fennimore Golden Eagles, taking on the La Crosse Aquinas Blue Golds. They are ranked number 3. For Kirk Lear, I'm Ken Manning saying thanks again, everyone. We'll see you right back here real soon on the mats in Fennimore.